Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm James from eDirectory, and this is Gabriel and Emerson as well from our marketing department. We're excited to have everybody. We're going to talk about the new version of eDirectory that's just out here recently. Before I get started, just a couple pieces of logistics on the webinar. First, we will have a recording of the webinar posted to our blog, typically within by tomorrow morning sometime. It'll be up there, so if you want to check it later, feel free to do that. And second, we will stop periodically and answer questions. If you have any questions, just pop them into the chat, and we'll stop periodically. And also at the end of the webinar, we'll have more time for questions on the upgrade or any other thing you'd like to discuss as well. Great. So thanks for joining us, and let's get this started here today. So we're really excited about version 13.2. But first, before I get started, let me just quickly go over a little background for anybody new here on the eDirectory platform. Basically, it is a content management system for building listing style websites. It's used for all sorts of things, from local guides, industry directories, all sorts of other purposes, anything you can imagine. You're able to create listings, configure the listings with which kind of fields go in. You can charge money for the listings. All the renewal stuff is set up. You can collect payment through various payment gateways around the world. For it, the system is highly customizable. It has a widget-based layout where you don't need, it's a low-code solution if you don't want to do any coding. Also, we have a source code version available if you would like to do customize the code yourself. So there's a lot of flexibility there. We also have native apps, iPhone and Android apps available that will show the same data set that's in your directory. People can download them from the app stores, all under your brand, all customized for you and your business. If you want a private demo or want to learn more, just reach out to our team, and we'll have an account executive walk you through the system. Great. So first, just a quick overview on what we have quickly in version 13.2, and then what I'll do is I will show just some examples from the back end. So we have a few new widgets that came out. Really excited about these. These are sort of layout widgets, different ability to highlight little places, highlighting text, etc. A new listing template widgets. Those are available as well. A new SEO Center to help you make sure that your site is SEO optimized, and improved site manager accounts that have more flexibility if you have multiple people administrating your site, where you can set up permissions and that type of thing. Also, we released a number of the plugins that weren't available on the mobile app are available on the native mobile apps now as well. Yeah, so let me give me 1 second here, and I will first just bring up what we have here, and let me go first, I guess, to the homepage of just eDirectory.com. We have a special demo here set up. You can just see the basically the listing system here, navigation, listings, etc. This is sort of our standard sort of demo layout. And what I'll do here is show you some of these new widgets that we've added. And so these are the standard ones. And then if I go here to HTML. So these are just examples, and you can use these for anything all throughout the site. These are some examples of the widgets here, and let me just show you where they're created. If you're logged into the site manager as an admin, whenever you're browsing through the front of the site, you'll see an edit this page link, and you can quickly go in to edit the widgets on the page. So if you click here, you can see these new widgets. And so these are some of the new ones here. These highlight cards with images. Let me just show you how these work. So if you click here on the highlight cards with images, you'll see there's a bunch of different sort of options in terms of changing the color here, a couple square image or rounded image for the layout. And then as far as the actual content that goes into these cards, you can edit these, and if you want to upload your own image, you just go here and you can upload it, select it from your computer. Or we also have an integration with the stock photo library Unsplash here, and you can select sort of, put in something like office worker would be an example. Or, if it's, say, a pizza restaurant or something, you can go in here. And it will show you some of the different options there, stock photos that you can use in there, and then you can put in the text there as well for that. So that's a card, and this can be used for all sorts of things. You can have as many cards as you want here. You just go down, hit add card, and more cards will show up there. So that's a good one to use. The other one here is the highlight cards with various images. These are these style cards here, which are an image, title, and some text below. And so to edit these here, you can see we call these, I think, the type 3 cards right here. This is the name of the widget, highlight cards with images, type 3. And these here, you can have a similar sort of thing here, select the card design, the image, and add the different cards, edit, delete them, that type of thing there. And you can have multiple widgets in the same page if you want to have multiple ones of these as well. So that's that. And then let's see what's next. The other thing that I wanted to show is a couple more widgets. Let me just check the chat here and see if we had anything come in. Okay, just some hello comments. A question came in, will I need to republish my app if I upgraded in order to show the new features? I think it actually is a good idea we with this release shortly before it, I think actually we released a new version of the app. So depending on what version you're on, you do probably want to republish that app and get the new code base in the store. However, typically when you add content or remove it from the app, like if you add a widget, you don't need to republish the app normally. So this is just sort of a one-time republish. And then after that, as you add and remove widgets through the admin section, those will automatically go live in the app. Also, do we have to purchase the plugins for the app, or does it use the same ones as the website? No, the plugins are, if you get them for the site, then they can be used on the apps as well with that. So those are included. And great. And what do you mean by the highlight widget? I think they're just names that we call basically to highlight some text, a text block on the site, or a block with some images there. That's we named those widgets the highlight widget, just sort of a name that we have there. Okay, great. So hopefully that answers that. And so let me show you these widgets here on this page. And these are, we just put these in sort of as an example on the Advertise With Us page here. And I'll edit this page to show you these new widgets. So yeah, so these are the highlight cards with options here, with icons. And so you can go here, you can select the colors, and then we have a whole bunch of different options for icons if you want to do these sort of icons in here for just tons and tons of options for anything you might want to think of there. For those. And here's another layout for the highlight cards with icons as well. So these have icons, similar sort of thing as the other ones there. So I'll show you that. That's great. Emerson, is there anything that you want to add on these type of cards here, or should I move on to the SEO Center at this point?
Just to mention that we have 7 new different options total between cards with icons and with images. So we can use this on any page on your site. It's for the page editor because we also have 2 new widgets for the listing template editor, which is a completely different section of the website.
Sure, yeah. So the listing template editor, let me just go in there. Number listings. And then we can show you some of these different features here. And then in listing templates here, you can see these pages here. And so you can set up templates for each of the different types of listings. This is actually one of the most important.
You can check the last one. If you go back one level, please.
Yeah.
The last one, restaurant with marketplace widgets. Yes.
Okay, great.
We have a new header widget available. It's this one header with sliders. And we have the additional image widget available. So we have one on the sidebar and one on the main bar of the page. So people can create as many additional image widgets they can. So it's possible to use in many different ways in a specific tab, for example, or just on the sidebar. It's up to you to create whatever you can imagine.
Okay, great. And yeah, so these are all here in the, you can see all these here in the, as you edit the listing templates here, these different widget options. And we really do have a lot of widget options, both for the main pane and the sidebar here, so that you can really sort of create great sort of detailed listings for your directory. Okay, great. And then at this point, let me just run us over here to the let me run us over here to the SEO Center. We made a bunch of improvements in this version to the SEO Center. Some really powerful features here. One of them is a redirect manager, and this allows you to set up redirects from an old URL to a new one for your visitors, for the search engines. And so this is really important if, say, you're doing a site migration or you want to move something around, then you can just basically set this up, and it's HTTP URL, and you can put the old URL and whatever the old URL that used to have a page, and then redirect that to a new URL. And we have information about what 301 redirects are here. If you want to learn about the technical thing, this goes into our knowledge base here. So a lot of people use that for all sorts of different things, you know, during the process of site setup and as they're running different programs. Sometimes they create a page, take a page down, but they still want to set up a redirect. One other great thing in the SEO Center now is ability to edit the robots.txt file. And this allows you to sort of customize which pages to crawl or not crawl. And so some of these we allow, you know, some of these are set to allow here, and sometimes you want to block certain things from being crawled in your robots.txt file. So you can do that here. Often people do, like, they'll block if they're doing specific landing pages for different campaigns or things like that they don't want to get just indexed on the site. Also, we have some things here to sort of the webmaster tools configurations to let the search engines know that you're the owner of the website. So you can configure that right in here now for the Google Search Console, Bing, Facebook Business Manager, and then also these authorized digital sellers and ads text. And if you need to learn more about this, we have a bunch of information here on the footer now that tells about all this sort of stuff here. It's kind of, some of it's sort of advanced SEO stuff. So you can learn more about it here and research also our knowledge base on eDirectory.com. And the site, you can also view your sitemap index here on this link here as well. So there's the pages, and then our general SEO settings, which are sort of our classic things here, where you do show your site and search results. So if you're not ready to index it yet, you can turn this off, turn it back on. This is the default image that's shared on social networks for your site, like Facebook and Twitter. You can configure that here, etc. And then, yeah, I think that's it, I guess, for right here for the SEO Center. And then, the biggest thing for SEO overall is really just getting your content good and making sure that it has great content that's fully optimized. We also put a lot of work into the tagging of listings to make sure that individual fields, etc., are all tagged and ready to go for Google. They have a whole tagging language that they sort of use there for all the data fields in there to make sure things like the business category and all that are configured in there. Let me just check the questions here. Let's see. Is there a way to set your default view to view summary view by grid instead of list? The default view, I assume that means on the search results page. The default way to view summary view by grid instead of list. Do you know the answer to that one offhand, Emerson? By any chance?
Let me just review the.
I assume what they're talking about is let's just see. Pizza.
No, out of the box, it's not possible yet to change the view to grid instead of list, but it's a simple tweak that can be made by custom.
Okay. Yeah, well, and I think that one is certainly something that's on our list of things to do. But this is if you want to make this the default view instead of the list, I think it's super fast for us if we need to do a little customization. So just reach out to our team, and there might be some small cost to it, but it's not significant. We will have that updated in a future version to make this the default view. Have an option for that in a map view. Great. So hopefully that answered that. Are the new widgets available for listings and events? So some of those widgets go on general pages, and then some of them, like the new header option there in the image, those are actually for listings. Those are not for the events at this point. We hope to have the events all widgetized in a very, very soon coming release as well, though, for that. If a subscriber cancels, is it easy to redirect them all to the home page or some other specific page? I guess you could actually do that if say a subscriber cancels and then you take their listing down so that the detail page isn't there anymore. Sometimes what people do is still leave the page there, but maybe reduce the listing level of it to like a basic level that doesn't have all the info and doesn't, isn't such a big listing. So you could do that potentially. That way you wouldn't lose the search URL and maybe that search value there. The other thing you could potentially do is actually set up a redirect, set up a redirect there in the, using that SEO Center. You could set up a redirect using that URL and then put that in and make that redirect to the home page. I don't know. I would probably just downgrade the listing to do that. Emerson, we had a question here about what is an authorized digital seller. Are you able to explain that? We haven't. There's a description in the page there. If you go on the bottom of the page, it explains it. But let me let Emerson explain this.
Okay, I already answered on chat here, but it's for Google AdSense. This file is necessary so the third-party banner ads can be displayed on your site. So it's just like a verification file that the Google AdSense will check on your site. So it's connected to your account, so it's okay because it's about monetization. So if they have to pay you for the ads people are clicking on, you need to have this file to verify that's your site, it's your account, etc.
Okay, I hope that explained it. And yeah, there's more detail available as well in the interface there on the bottom. There's some tips there. Okay, next question. Are there any plans to have actual demo samples of pages with the new widgets? It's very hard to imagine how the widgets would be used for. I guess that's actually pretty valid feedback there, Emerson, which is we have all these widgets in our interface, but it's sort of hard to tell maybe where you would what you would want to use those and where you would want to put them in for that. That's probably a good idea. I think we'll note that just to give people some layout options. A lot of it is if you browse through our demo, you can sort of edit the page if you like something on there, and you may want to have sort of similar content on your site or do something similar. You could probably hit edit that page and then see which widget is sort of creating that. But I think that's probably a good idea, is that if we add just some sort of a description in the widget editor of where the widgets would be used, or some type of a visual to explain that a little bit better. We tried a little bit. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I'm going to post the links of these 2 pages here on chat because it helps people to check.
Oh yes,
but we'll add that to our public demo sites.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then what we actually try to do just with the interface design here for these widgets, if we tried to sort of give you an example, like this blue-green kind of thing, tried to give you a little bit of example of how it's going to look as you're looking through the widget editor there. I know it's not perfect, but maybe gives you a little bit of an idea with that. But yeah, we'll post the links at least so you can look at our demos. Next question. It is my understanding that if I've customized my site, that I cannot upgrade to new versions without having to do the customize all over again at additional expense. Do I understand this correctly? Trusted local directory. So basically, if you've done a lot of code customizations, basically the upgrade scripts have some issues just running, and they, obviously if you customize things and then there's a modification there's potentially a conflict. And so somebody our developer or your developer needs to work through that. And so if we're doing that, we would just need to figure out what those conflicts are, and then there's some labor involved, obviously for that, and some additional expense. It certainly shouldn't be that you need to just pay for everything all over again. We try to make it easier where the code customizations are sort of modularized and separate from the base system, but it really depends on what you've done. And some people do these really drastic customizations of the system that really affect the upgrades, and then the upgrades are a little bit challenging at that point. So it depends on the situation of what you've done. If it's a very small customization, typically it's a pretty nominal expense or not that big of a deal. But if it's a big customization, yes, it's potentially more complicated. And we are working on making that faster all the time. And essentially, just the developer needs to get in there with the with the system and run a code merge on it. And there's some time to do that. So yeah, it depends. Just reach out to us and we can see what's involved in moving the different things over. And as the system goes, we're trying to make it more modular and also put in widgets where you don't need to customize it, and you can kind of do things out of the box. Question, has that changed from the past? Has that changed from past SEO title tags? I'm not sure what that question refers to. I think it may refer to Warren's previous question. What do I mean by the highlight widget? There was it's a new widget, some different things in there for it. So I think it did change a little bit. I'm not exactly sure the question there though. So maybe if you want to clarify. Let's see. Yes, it's possible to. Oh, we just had a response from Fernanda that it is possible to change the results view to grid by default, Emerson. So I think we've spoken correctly about that. Maybe if you can check with Fernanda maybe if you can check with Fernanda real quick on where that setting is, and we can tell people how to do that. Sorry, everybody. There's a lot of settings in the system, obviously. And thanks, Fernando, for popping in there. Honeywoods, can my subscribers that have a listing offer items for sale on the profile of their directory? Is there a workaround to have the listing in the classified section? Yes, this is actually one of the big things that we have available in the system. We have a widget called a marketplace widget, where a listing owner can post this widget in their listing and then offer items for sale. And then it's a very, very simple widget though. And so typically the checkout, you can either do checkout by it's basically allows you to create little cards or little pieces inside of the detail page that may show items for sale or services offered. And then they can put in their own link to a button that checks them out, and that button may go to their own PayPal. It could go to some ordering page. It could go to some affiliate program. There's a whole bunch of different ways to get that to work. But yes, there are ways to offer items for sale through the listing. Very simple way to do that. It's called the marketplace widget. If you have any questions on that, we can you can reach out.
The link I posted about the listing detail page with the new widgets, it has the marketplace widget, so you can check how it looks like.
Okay, great. That link is in the chat you posted, right? Let me just see here. Okay, great. So I'll open this now. Can everybody see my screen, I hope? Great. Yeah. So here's an example of that, and you can see in this widget our items, highlights of the week. There's a little booking sort of widget, and then here's an example, if you can see that, items for sale right here. And this is a great feature. And so when they click to order this, this can actually go to some third-party system somewhere and do the checkout or whatever they want for it. So very, very powerful feature there as far as that goes. And I'll just show, if you're logged in, you can edit the specific item or edit the page. The page is like the template or the item. I'll show you how the site manager can edit the individual listing here on that. And so that's coming up. Great. And here are the specials. Here are the takeout specials. And so you can see how these work, where they can upload their own items here and edit them, edit the info in them for those, as well as edit the link to the checkout here. They can add more photos for the items. They can put in multiple photos for each of the items there. So that's a very powerful feature. There's a lot of different uses for it, from all sorts of bookings, from appointment bookings to ordering food to products to services, all sorts of things there. So great. Next question, will eDirectory run on AWS hosting? How long will it take to complete our install to our AWS account? Yes, absolutely. eDirectory will run on AWS hosting. It is probably our most highly recommended hosting situation. We have disk images and stuff that help with the configuration of the underlying elements. Also, we have some enterprise clients that are doing sort of advanced hosting on AWS with auto scaling, redundancy, that type of thing, etc. So depending on what your hosting needs are, just reach out to our team and we can see what's involved there. But it should be pretty quick. If it's a fairly standard install, we have the images ready to go for AWS hosting. It's certainly a great platform. Does eDirectory have a user forum where people who use eDirectory can share ideas? I know lots of other software sites have a user forum. I think most of our our community is sort of based, I think it's in the Facebook group. Is that right, Emerson? For the eDirectory users. We're trying to make it more active in there. It's been a little bit quiet, but we'll keep that in mind, and maybe we need to pull it out of there and just put something on our website, or something where users can kind of trade ideas online for that. It's still a fairly niche product, and so that's some of the reason why the user base isn't super enormous on it. But yeah, I'm sure people can benefit from sharing ideas, etc. Is there a white label how-to for our subscribers to refer to when setting up their profiles? I don't think we have necessarily like a how-to guide for that, but you can, a lot of the content, you can add pages to the site and explain things or take screenshots with your branding on it. And then just create a custom page to sort of give users a checkout. But I think the checkout process is, for somebody buying a listing and setting up a listing, it's pretty self-explanatory. That sponsor view for them to check out. And then, yeah, if you needed to create pages with more information in it, certainly you can create custom pages as well. Next question, can we create a few different listing templates and then the sponsor can choose which one they want? Yeah, absolutely. So you can create as many or as few listing templates as you want. The listing templates are often bound to a category. So like you can have a category, if you're doing a local guide, you could have a category for a restaurant. If you're doing niche industry guides, some industries, say music teachers, you may have listing template for a music teacher that had some specific fields in that, and then people can choose between them for that. So you can create as many as you want, or you can just do more general ones like business, and then people can go in with the default fields. So yes, absolutely, you can create listing templates with different fields, etc. for those and have people select them. Next question, is there a way to add the days, hours widget to the classified post so that the advertiser can let the viewer know what the business hours and days are? I think we don't have that widget correct on the classifieds, but what you can do is post that in into the classifieds as part of the description. If you wanted to do that, it wouldn't have the open close thing, but we just found most of our users, like business hours doesn't necessarily apply to a classified post. Those are things would be often for people, more things like jobs, and people use the system for all different types of things. However, what you may want to look at doing is instead of using the classified module, use the listing module and create a custom template for whatever you're doing, and then you can have the business hours on it if you want for that, if it's a listing module. And we are trying to make the classified module similar to the listing module, where it's configurable with widgets in the future as well. And if that doesn't work, again, you can just post the hours in the listing description, or give people an indication to post their working hours inside of the description.
James, when the classifieds associated with the listing, there is a link for the listing owner, and then they can see easily, like one click away from this information.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. And so there's a way to associate classified listings with just other listings, business listings. And people use that for maybe like job listings if they have a business and then they want to post jobs available, and they go there, and then people will be able to click back and see the other details like the hours of operation. So thanks for that comment there. Okay. Let's see, maybe I misunderstood, but a couple simple customization were quoted as the same cost of what we originally paid. So it depends on what, I guess this is upgrading, and do I need to pay for the customization again, and etc. It depends on what the customization is. If it's pretty simple stuff, the cost may be the same on it, just because there's time to get in there and set everything up and release it and test it. And if it's a small number of hours, that may be how it is. If you want, you can send us a quote. We can take another look at it as well. If you had some questions about a quote for customization, happy to take a look at it. Is it possible to see some of your most active directories so we can get ideas of our own? Yeah, if you reach out to our account executives, they can share a couple directories with you, so you can see what's out there. Okay, let's see what's next. Looks like Charlene has a question on building her apps. the paragraphs are merged together on the apps. I think I remember that was a formatting thing. Charlene, I know you've been going back and forth with our support team on this. I will check and see what we can do to get your paragraph justification resolved on your apps. I don't think that's a big deal to do that. So I'll check on that, Charlene. I know our team's been in touch with you. I saw that on the report this morning. So I'll give that a push and see if we can get that resolved for you. Next question. If I wanted to change a listing template for active listings, will the data transfer to the new template? Yes. So you can change the template around and the data will sort of move over with that to that. You just have to be a little bit careful when you do that sort of thing. But yeah, you can work on them and change them, and the underlying fields and data will still be there for that. It would be, and if you have any questions about that, that's kind of a highly technical thing there. You can reach out to our support team, or I'd say just try it so you're familiar with how it works before you do some massive data operation on there. As far as changing something, test the system to make sure you understand how all that works. It would be awesome if the site manager that new things are marked as new for a short period of time. So next to the highlighted cards with images, it says new. Sometimes it's hard to know what's changed. That's actually good feedback, Dan. Emerson, let's mark this feedback if we can here, just in the site manager, if we have new features and stuff, if we can put a little tip on there what's new so people can see it as they get upgrades and see that. I'm hopeful you can add a way to enforce a user to add a payment method at time of claim. Many times I've lost customers because they've opened up their profile and added a payment and their listing has become inactive. We'll check into what's going on with that flow for you, Dana, in terms of adding a payment method at time of claim. Yeah, when you claim a listing, you can check out and make payment on the listing. It may have something to do with how your listing levels are configured and whether you have a free level, et cetera, for that. If there's a free level, obviously people don't necessarily need to make payment for that. So that may be that, but there is a way to check out and pay there. A question, I think, on this marketplace widget, where does the book now go when they click? That goes to whatever link the listing owner puts in there. So if they use another booking system, like if it's a hotel and they have their own hotel booking system, that link, they put in a link right into their booking system. If they're using, some food, Uber Eats kind of ordering system, they can link right into their Uber Eats to buy the item. It really depends. If it's a product, they might link into a PayPal to make payment. Sometimes the book now is a link for like a calendar scheduling program like Calendly. Whatever you can imagine, you can link in the book now buttons in these widgets here to anywhere. It would be nice if it doesn't require a price or the price can be $0. I think we have I think you can leave some of that stuff off if needed on that. I think you just leave the price off and I don't think the price is required on there. We have it in our example, but I think you can take that off and that
I guess it's for classifieds. The classified modes allows zero price or no price.
Okay.
But for this widget, the price is still required if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, price required. Okay, we should note that though to make that sort of an optional item on that. Okay. All right. Aside from creating a deal, is there a way a user could show that deal under their products as well for consistency purposes? I think they can change the layout of the listing to feature their deal on there, right, Emerson? Depending on where they want it to go in the listing template editor. I think the question is laying out the listing template editor, how you want your listing detail page laid out. And so we have flexibility in these pages where you can
Deals are posted by listings only, so it can be displayed on a tab or on the main initial detail page.
Right.
So yes, and when the listing is on the results page or on the home page in a widget, and it offers deals, there is a small tag inside the main picture that shows offers deals. So it's a way to highlight that specific listing offers deals.
Right. So yeah, and you can see that here in the screenshot, just the associated deals. So you can configure that in the layout of it. Next question: are subscribers limited to the amount of items that they can list? And I think that widget will take. Is there a limit on the number of items? I don't think so. I think you can always add another widget there. I think you can add more items in there. It is set up for a small store. It's not set up for some giant store in there. So probably just whatever would fit on the page there for that. As far as making a small percentage off the listing sales, that you would probably want to do with like some affiliate program, like iDev affiliate, where there's special links on the buy button that takes there and calculates the commissions and all that sort of stuff. So you can reach out to us if you want to figure out how to set something like that up, like the iDev affiliate or some other program. But basically, the custom link that goes to buy, you would change that for that. I currently have enterprise version 13.0.02 hosted on my own server. What will it take to upgrade to your latest version? Yeah, the version 13s, they all upgrade pretty clean, so it shouldn't be that difficult to do. Just send in an email to our support team. If you have the own license on your own server, you do need the annual support, the support contract, and then we can see what's involved. But it should just be a matter of sort of running the upgrade script, and it upgrades at that point. With that, so that should be easy. Next question: is there a way to prevent anyone from adding additional cities into the directory when creating a listing? It is already pre-populated. I think that would need to be done via the moderation for that. Right now, they can add a listing and add a city just because a lot of, there's so many cities in the world, et cetera. So that option is there. If this is a major problem for you, you can reach out and we can possibly do a very small customization just to not allow that ability. But I think that's sort of default in the platform where they can add a city. You can do the moderation when you see the listing come in and delete it, though, if they're putting junk in there for that. I'm a proud member. Okay, great. Thanks for that feedback. Next question: get Scribe to create your own guides. This allows you to walk through steps and record the documents you took. Scribehow.com. Okay, that's a comment from Dan, I guess, on creating a sort of a customized guide for people wanting to set up sponsor a listing there, just to help people to create a guide there. So thanks for that comment. It's in the chat. You can see it there. Earlier, you showed various template options for specific industries, such as dentist restaurants. Are those templates actually available to us, or were you just showing what's possible? I think our default directory has a few templates available in there that covers some of the basic options, certainly. And then you can create your own as well with that. So you'll see some of those options as you create the system in there. Just go into listings, listing template editor. Any updates on a fix for how the Facebook feed function is broken? I was told it's been a Facebook issue. It's been months. Do you know the status of that one, Emerson? The Facebook API update that they did that affected the widget. Do you happen to know that offhand?
No, not yet. I'm going to double check here.
Okay, yeah. If you can just note that, and we'll follow up with Dan on the status of the Facebook integration, the API there. Next question, is this ready for Google Analytics 4? Yes, absolutely. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. So the new version here, it's all ready to go for Google Analytics 4. That's all in there. You just put the keys in the site manager and ready to go for that. Hi guys, next question. Hi guys, Ola from London. Please let me know about the upgrade. I sent a message today, but prefer upgrade at a later date. Okay, we have a support ticketing system. So if you send in a message, our support team will respond usually within 24 hours, and we'll get you scheduled for an upgrade. Are we able to add a forum to our directory for our users to communicate, or you just suggest using a Facebook group for that? So there's a lot of ways to do a forum. It really depends on your needs for it. We have a very simple plugin that's a Q&A module where people can post questions, answers in there, and it integrates in with the directory. It's very, very simple though. It doesn't have a lot of the moderation and some of the other features in there that some of the advanced groups do. Another option is to use an external system like a Facebook group, etc. Or, that's a hosted solution, or you can possibly integrate in an open source forum product such as PHPBB. So there's a bunch of different directions there. It really depends on what your needs are. And if you want to reach out to one of our account managers, they can probably give you some guidance on what might work for you there for that. Next question, when can we start using the highlight cards? I can't see them in my site manager. If you don't see them in the site manager, you might need an upgrade. So you need to have version 13.2, this new version of the directory. So once you have that, you'll see them in there. If you hit all and you scroll down, you'll see the cards in there. So if you need an upgrade, just reach out to our support team, and we'll get you in line for that. Next question, why does the map view on the search results page limit results around 10? I would expect the map view listings to update as you move around the map. I think it depends. Do you know the answer to that one, Emerson, on the map view question search results page? We might need to check into that. I don't think I think it'll show many more dots than 10 though. It may be you're on the native mobile app, moving areas, the focus areas and something like that. And it needs to redo the request to pull the search results back out. One of the things is if you have a very large database and you're currently moving areas, it'll just sort of constantly hit the database. And so that's why a lot of apps, so like the Yelp app even, a lot of those apps have a thing, redo search in this area, just to make sure that you're actually the user actually want to pull the results from that area for that. Emerson, I don't know if you have any comments on that. If not, we may need to follow up with Bill on that. Just to see what's going on with his specific
according to Fernando, the map view reflects the listings that were listed on the initial results, which is around 10 or 13, I guess, and it does not refresh when we move the map. That's the standard behavior.
Okay, and so we'll look at that. That may be something that we put in a note here, and maybe something we want to just try to address in a future version of the product. So thanks for the feedback on that, Bill. Next question, is there a blog section in the directory? Yes, absolutely. We have a blog module. You can see it right here. We also have articles, classifieds, and events module as well. We've got you covered as far as a blog goes. Once eDirectory is installed on our server, can you easily change for one theme to another, change from the default to the medical team, or you need to choose one at installation? No, you can change all that stuff through the site manager here. It's just, different settings in the site manager. Everything's configurable as far as that goes. How does eDirectory determine which enhancements or change requests would be most beneficial to most users? Any thoughts on looping in us users to help you prioritize enhancements? Yes, so absolutely. I mean, we have our product leader, our marketing team, sales team, et cetera, here internally. We run through our backlog and then decide, what the priority and where to put those on the roadmap, et cetera. And we do reach out to users as well. Emerson, can we make a note here? I think with this feedback, I think from Bill, it sounds like he has some interest in giving us some feedback. I think I saw a note from him at one of the meetings with some feedback as well. So we certainly welcome feedback from all of our users. We don't necessarily have a formal program, but we have an informal program, I guess, to get feedback at this point. And we often do reach out to our users for that. So we will note that if Emerson can make a note of that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Okay, next question. I paid for basic and premium plugins in a previous version. Can all the plugins I purchased be installed on 13.2 without having to purchase the plugins again? Yeah, I think if you have the support, it's all covered on there as far as that goes. So you should be covered for the upgrade on the plugins. Do I need my own server or do you offer hosting for my membership site? No, we have hosting options. So we can host it for you. We have various different plans. You can see them on eDirectory.com. We have a leased license that has the hosting all included with it. We have an owned license where you can take it and host it on your own server. We have an owned license where we can host it. It's really up to you. If you just reach out to our account management team and we'll see what your needs are and help you get set up. Next question, does eDirectory run on mobile browsers, web browsers? Yes, absolutely. So we have native reactive design so that the website will run on the mobile browser, on your iPhone, your Android phone, et cetera. Additionally, there's native apps, but those are separate from the mobile, just the mobile web view as well. So yes, absolutely, you're all set for mobile. I recently upgraded. I want to upgrade to the newest version. I'm being told there's a fee. I'll check on that, Charlene, and we'll be in touch to see what's going on with that. With your fee structure there in terms of your upgrade. Is there a widget in the works for a LinkedIn feed? I think the whole LinkedIn, I think they had a fairly restrictive API in terms of accessing their data. And so I think that's why we didn't have necessarily like a LinkedIn feed for that. But that would be interesting just to know what you're interested in doing with the LinkedIn feed. So that may be something you want to send us. If you just send it in to us, to whoever your account manager is, just like, hey, I'm interested in a LinkedIn feed that looks like this with some example from another website, we can see, what's involved. And if it looks like something of interest, we can potentially put it in the product roadmap for that. I think we just haven't had too much demand for it. And I think, as I remember, the LinkedIn API was really quite restrictive in terms of what data they would let you access. Next question. James, do you know any outsourcing service that knows how to work with listings in eDirectory, filling in content, it sounds like? Think of hiring a virtual assistant to populate and add content to the site. I think any paid DIFM services you can offer would work for a lot of folks. Yeah, just updating the content. I know there's some work in doing that. There are some services out there, just sort of freelancing services where especially these larger companies, like they have people that sort of do that. I'll have to check and see if we can find some recommendations in terms of outsourcing services. Virtual assistants help people update listings and do all that kind of content work on there. and get back. You don't know any of those offhand, do you, that we can recommend, Emerson or Gabriel, on content production
No,
site?
the most common is to look help on Fiverr or similar
Yes.
websites.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to mention.
Yeah, so Fiverr, the typical websites, for that, you can probably just hire sort of a freelancer to do that. Why don't we note that and do some research into that? Gabriel, that may be one for you to note, and we do some research and we'll see if we can post that as a blog post or something, just with some recommendations on getting some help as far as site management. And if our site is hosted with eDirectory, do we need to do anything to upgrade to the new version? Yes, so we don't automatically upgrade people without their request. People need to request an upgrade, and the reason we don't do it is because sometimes layout changes a little bit between versions, and people, you know, hey, the widget changed a little bit, so we try not to touch anything automatically with that, or change anything automatically. So what we do is we say, hey, we got this upgrade available, and if you'd like an upgrade, you just send our support a message saying please upgrade, and then we'll take care of that. In the future, hopefully not too far future, we're going to have an upgrade button in the site manager that just notifies you when an upgrade is available, and then you can sort of self-serve on that. So we hope to have that coming this year, as far as that goes. But yeah, if you want to upgrade, just send our support at eDirectory.com. Please upgrade, and they will follow up with that. Any plans in putting certain pages behind credentials, sort of as a membership plugin? Yes, we're working on making those features sort of available. We realize those are important, where you can sort of hide content for people that aren't paid members to the site. So we should have that out in a future release, probably not next month, but hopefully not too far away, as far as that goes. Let's see, can you customize options to our directories branded for our users? Yes, absolutely. So eDirectory can be completely behind your brand, your style, etc. You can customize it, the style sheets, everything in there, to make it completely yours, as far as branding goes. So highly customizable. Great. We have another offer from Rhonda here that'd like to provide some feedback, if you guys can note that. Next question, are we able to turn our directory into an app for the app stores? Is that something you offer with your subscription? Yes, absolutely. So we have native apps available right here in the site manager. If you can see my screen, we have the app builder in the site manager. And basically you build the app, you create the app and build it for your site, and then you submit it to Apple and Google app stores under your own account. And we have a submission service, like especially the Apple submission is a little bit tricky, just to, you know, there's a bunch of keys and stuff involved in terms of creating an Apple developer account, getting the key, putting it in here, building the app, submitting the build to get it up there. But yes, absolutely, we've got it. And if you'd like us to do the build, we have a service to build it for you and submit it as well. Question regarding Greg's question, upgrading to the new version. I was told there's a fee to have your current plugins moved to the new version. I think we move the plugins if you've already paid for them to the new version. So we'll check on that, Charlene. I think Charlene has an older version, and there's something not standard there. So I'll check on your stuff there, Charlene, and we'll get back to you later today or tomorrow morning, as far as that goes, as far as plugins, etc. With that. And then we had a couple suggestions here on Fiverr, Upworks, etc. And Charlene says she has the previous version. I'll check on that and see what's going on with yours. I think you had a lot of content in the old app, and it sounded like there was some issues working with it. So we'll figure out what's going on there with that. I've scheduled a migration. Could your dev team work with my server team to make that happen? Yes, absolutely. Just reach out to our team and just make sure that that the planning is done in terms of timelines and all that, Rhonda, if you need us to help upgrading there for that. Okay, great. Thanks. So any more questions? Last call for questions. Oh, somebody asked, Julia asked, who's my account manager? Emerson, can you note to check who Julia's account manager is? Julia Ewens here, who her account manager is, and we will be in touch, Julia. And thanks everybody. Thanks for the feedback. And as always, if you need help, send our support, a note, support@eDirectory.com. We have live chat on the website as well. We try to get back and help everybody out as quick as we can. For that, feedback's always welcome. And the team is working hard already on the next version of the product, etc. We're hoping to have a bunch of great releases out this year and really move things forward in a big way. So thanks everybody for your time and have a great day. Cheers.